evening, everyone. It is Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, wishing you a fabulous day wherever you are in the world. I hope you're well and I hope you are safe. Thank you for joining me on this, the very first cooking class of the week. And this week we're going to be doing all awesome pub classic dishes. So for those of you who may not have heard, I've told the story a few times, but I used to own a couple of pubs right here in Sydney, in my hometown of Sydney. And owning a couple of pubs for a couple of years, for many years, got to know what sort of food people were really looking forward to having when they walked into a classic Aussie pub. So I thought all this week, why not do some of those pub classics, but my healthy version of them, because I have to say the ones that I was preparing in the pub, they weren't that healthy. They weren't that healthy. The deep fryer got a lot of use, put it that way. So we're going to be doing healthy pub classics all week, starting tonight with probably one of the most popular Aussie pub meals out, and that is the chicken Parmigiana, also known as chicken parm or chicken parmy. So we're going to be doing a lovely crumbed chicken breast tonight, with, you know, obviously all the bits and pieces that you'd normally expect on a chicken parmy. But before we get into our class tonight, I just want to say congratulations to every single one of you that joined us on our very first group extended fast. We did that, we started on Sunday night at 8 p.m. and we did a 36-hour fast, so no food, just approved beverages right until 8 a.m. this morning. So 36 hours. Some of you even went 42 hours. It was pretty amazing, and the results have been incredible. And I just want to give the biggest congratulations to everyone. People who have got more energy, who slept well, who said it was one of the best feelings they've ever had. People lost amazing amounts of weight as well. I'm hearing anywhere from 1.5 kilos up to 2.5 kilos in 36 hours. So it's pretty cool. So if you want to be a part of we're going to be doing lots of group fasts, by the way. It is such a fun way to do it, and we do it over in our private group, which is Bridget's Healthy Kitchen Family, right here or right on Facebook. So if you want to be part of our private support group, come on over. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And this is the best place that you can get support from all my recipes. You get to chat with me and Mahi in close quarters. We're always online, and we do really cool things like have group extended fasts, which is fantastic. So come on over, just search for it in Facebook, Bridget's Healthy Kitchen Family. That is our support group. Come and join the dark side. Join some fasting too. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, let's get into the recipe tonight. As I was saying, we're doing chicken parmy, and it is a good one. I am excited to be sharing this recipe with you guys. So first and foremost, the recipe you can find and more from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. In fact, this recipe this book has got a few of my famous pub grub classics, like anything like, you know, from pulled pork, you know, right down to, you know, meatballs, and obviously, you know, all those sort of things that you would expect to find in your pub. There's a green burger in there as well. So all sorts of delicious, wonderful pub grub classics. But of course tonight, and I've just lost the page. Where is it? Tonight we're going to be doing our chicken parmy. If I can find it, let me find the Jeez, that was smart, Bridge. 1 second. I want to show you. Oh, here we go. It's on page 162 of the green book, more from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. And of course, we're going to be doing it without gluten. We're going to be doing it, there's a dairy-free option for you as well going into that. And of course, we're going to be doing it without sugar as well. And in this particular version, I'm going to be doing a grain-free version as well. So I've got a really exciting crumb mixture to show you guys as we're going throughout. So come on down to my bench. Let's get into the recipe. It's a fun one to do. And one of the things that you probably want to take into consideration first and foremost is the type of chicken that you're using. I'm using a really nice lean piece of chicken breast, and I have sliced the chicken breast into 100 grams or 3.5 ounce portions, which is a big enough portion for one person. So you're looking at about 100 grams of a cleaned and skin removed chicken breast, 100 grams per person. So this is obviously enough there for 2 people. I've got about 200 grams there. So the first thing you want to do is prepare prepare your chicken. I'm just going to try and pull up my sleeves as much as I can. So with our chicken breast, what we want to do first and foremost, once you kind of, you may have to trim it down and remove the skin, we want to butterfly it open. So the best way to do that is taking yourself a nice sharp knife. I'm going to slice down the middle of the chicken there, so right down the middle there, but I'm not going to go all the way through. So just really carefully, working slowly with your knife, I'm cutting down, and as you can see, I'm starting to sort of develop this little, I suppose, butterfly wings from it. That's why they call it butterflying our chicken, because it kind of looks a little bit like butterfly wings. So I'm cutting through, but I'm not cutting all the way through, because what that then gives us is this piece of chicken breast like that. So that butterfly technique, not only does it make it look like you got more chicken, which is always a good thing, right? But it also helps to cook it nice and quickly. You don't want to have real fat pieces of chicken here because it's not going to cook evenly. So you want to do it as evenly as possible. So we'll do it one more time just so you guys can see. So we take our chicken, and remember, we're just going to slice right down through the middle, and we're going to open it up like butterfly wings. So you don't want to cut all the way through. If you do cut all the way through, don't panic. You can always, it's just a matter of next time around, you can see if you can get it, to be opened up a little bit better. Oh, see? Exactly. Look what I did. I cut, just as I was saying, right? That's fine. It doesn't actually matter, because what I can do now is a little bit of surgery, and the hole is closed. Fantastic, right? So now that we've got our chicken butterfly, I get to use my favorite instrument in the kitchen, my little yellow hammer. Because what we now want to do is you can do this with a mallet, you could do this with the base of a heavy pot. I'm just whacking it down, removing some of the frustrations from the day. And what this is doing is helping to get our chicken as flat and even as possible. Now, I'm not like giving it heaps, I'm just, kind of dabbing away at it. And this is going to help to keep our chicken flat so it cooks evenly, which is really important because it doesn't spend a lot of time in our fryer here. So that's looking pretty good. Put that there. Let's just give this a bit of a whack as well. I mean, you could be a bit more heavy-handed, but there's no real need because we're just trying to get it even. And it's spreading out. It's looking larger than it was. It's hard to believe this is only 100 grams of chicken. It now looks humongous. So once you've got that flattened out, use whatever you have handy that's a little bit heavy. Like I said, you could use a rolling pin, the end of a rolling pin. Just make sure you obviously clean it really well before you use it again. You could use the base of a heavy cast iron pot and whack it down. But I've got my little yellow hammer. It's my coconut hammer. So handy. Everyone needs a yellow hammer in the kitchen. All right, so that is done. Put that in the sink. Get it out of the way. Now we're going to take our butterflied and flattened chicken and putting it back into this here bowl because I need to put a bit of water over it just to keep it moist. So just enough water to cover it. It's just normal water, nothing fancy there. And I'm just going to push that off to the side now. Get rid of this yucky chopping board. Alright, so chicken soaking, fantastic. While the chicken is soaking, I'm going to preheat. I'm using an air fryer. As you guys can see, I'm using my air fryer. So I'm going to preheat my air fryer on 200 degrees Celsius, which is 390 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, we always preheat our air fryer for at least 2 minutes before anything goes in here. Yes, I'm doing the chicken parmy in the air fryer, so it gets really nice and golden, but you can do it in the oven with great success. If you're doing it in the oven, you want to, well, firstly have this ready, so just a tray with a bit of baking paper on it, and you want to set your oven at the same temperature, 200 degrees or 390 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So you can do it in the oven, or of course you can do it in the air fryer. So just turn the air fryer on, let that preheat. While that's preheating, I'm gonna make the crumb mixture. And as I was saying, I've got a bit of a sneaky crumb mixture, in the cookbook and more from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, I actually use a rice cake. So you can use a rice cake if you want, but if you want to stay completely grain free, and this is really going to help to keep the carbs low and also keep your insulin levels low, we're going to be using a mixture of, I've got almond meal. You could use any nut or seed meal or flour here. I'm using almond. Put it onto our little scales. And for 2 chicken breasts, we don't need much. We only need 20 grams of almond flour. 20 grams. We're also going to be using some flax meal, which is going to help to give it fibre, which is wonderful. And with this, we're just going to be adding 10 grams. 10 grams of our flax meal. We're also going to add a pinch of psyllium husks. I know you guys have got all this sort of stuff, especially if you do a lot of gluten-free baking. A pinch of psyllium husks. Once again, we are increasing the dietary fiber here. We are making this so incredibly healthy. You just want to add in sort of like half a tablespoon, which is only a couple of grams of the psyllium husks. And then I always like to put in our nutritional yeast for that wonderful flavor that we get from nutritional yeasts. And I'm going to put in a heaped tablespoon. Oh, that's a lot. Probably just a tablespoon. A heaped was too much, Bridget. I got a little bit excited. It was too much. You don't need that. Just a tablespoon of our nutritional yeast. Give that a little bit of a stir. Bit of a stir. You could use, nothing stopping you from using the crumb mixture in the book, but this mixture here tastes pretty good. Even our 15-year-old son ate it, so you know it's going to be tasty. Pinch of salt. Pinch of salt has gone in there as well. All right. All we need to do now is to crumb our chicken. So I'm just going to tip the water out behind me. Tip the water out. We're only using the water to make it moist. Look at that piece. We're only using the water to make it, oh gosh. All right, I got 2 pieces. To make it moist so that the crumb mix sticks to it. That's all we're doing, so you don't have to soak it for any length of time. Literally just in and out of the water is all you need. And look at that. You get a really good coverage. Really decent coverage of the crumb goes on there really nicely. So I'm going to have 2 and a bit. 2 and a bit pieces, which is fantastic. All right, crumb this one as well. You know, that mixture, that crumbing mixture, you could probably get a third out of here too. If you really wanted to, you could do 3 portions with that wonderful crumb, and it is so fabulous. It tastes so good. All right, so we've got a nice bit of a crumb on there, which is fabulous. So let me get rid of this. Let me clean off the Z fingers. And let's now think about putting it into our air fryer, because obviously our air fryer is now nice and warm. It's been preheated. I'm going to grab my little rack here, or you could put yours straight into your basket, or remember, if it's going into the oven, you're doing it on this, yeah? You're doing it on your tray with a bit of baking paper. It's a really good idea to just lightly spray your tray or your basket just with a little avocado oil or coconut oil. That's going to help to make sure that this does not stick as badly. It'll still stick a little bit, but not as badly. So these just go flat onto the tray or the basket or the wire rack in my case. Make sure there is space in between. As you can see, I'm not overloading my little rack because we want the air to circulate really well in here. So I never overload this rack. If you're doing a lot of chicken parmies all at the same time, I would suggest you do it in the oven unless you've got a really big fryer. I can get 2 portions on here. A light little spray of oil is all it needs. Remember, a little goes a long way in our air fryer. Our air fryer is nice and warm. This goes in there. Close the lid and set your timer for 8 to 9 minutes. That's what you're looking at. So, setting my timer now. And we want to set it for, I'll set it for 8 minutes and I'll have a look what it looks like after 8. See what's happening there. So now that that is underway, and it only takes you a couple of minutes, we can think about what you might want to serve with your chicken parmy. So traditionally it's served with chips, obviously. So we can think about making our own healthy version of some wonderful vegetable chips, because potato is a vegetable, it's just not a great vegetable for us. So I'm going to be using today some zucchini, And I'm also going to be using, because I love it, some fennel as well. I'm going to do fennel and zucchini chips to go with my chicken parmy. Fabulous, right? So taking up your knife, we'll prep our vegetables very easily by taking off the ends and literally making chips. So I always like to cut my zucchini in half, because for me, once I do it into quarters, I like to do quite fat chips, because the zucchini will shrink a little bit when it's in the oven. So I like to do quite fat little chips, so I get big pieces like that. And yeah, just bear in mind that the zucchini will shrink. So I find that when I cut them just a little bit on the larger side, it's a little bit it's a little bit less like I'm just eating a slither of zucchini. It actually feels pretty mighty. So definitely do that. We're going to throw our chips into a bowl. Throw them into a bowl. And then this is how I would cut the fennel. So you've noticed with this fennel bowl is that I've left the root intact, because it's just so much easier to slice that way. So out of this size fennel, as you can see, I'm probably going to get 3 chips out of it. So into thirds we go. Just like that, they go in there as well. I'm going to add a few more because there is a couple of us eating this. So the fennel, once again, goes. If you've got a piece like the top of my fennel, there's a bit, I'm not sure if you can see that, it's a bit nasty. So I'm actually going to dispose of that. Don't want that. I want the lovely tender stuff underneath, because sometimes the outer edges of the fennel can be a little bit tough and a little bit fibrous. So if you're new to fennel, you definitely want to eat the more tender pieces on the inside. And you know, sometimes you just got to get rid of the yucky bits. So I reckon that's good. So we've got our fennel in there, we've got our zucchini in there. We're going to add a bit of sticky sauce to it, because that's going to be our way of getting a bit of flavour and also getting a little bit of colour as it is going, you know, in the oven. Give it a bit of a toss. This is why I'm doing it in a bowl, because you have a greater chance at tossing the vegetables and getting all that sticky sauce, and added like, you know, tablespoon and a half of the sticky sauce, get it all over your vegetables. Let's also add a bit of pepper. Let's add a little bit of salt as well. Another little toss, and then we can put it onto a tray. You can of course do this in your air fryer, set on 200 degrees, just like it is now. Especially if you've got one of those air fryer that has like different trays in it and you can get it all in. You see, I can only do a very small amount in my air fryer, so for me the easiest way to do a lot of chips all at once is just to toss them into the oven. I've got the oven set, you know, 200 degrees as well. These get tossed into the oven, and then they will take around about 15 to 20 minutes to cook through in a hot oven. Depending on the thickness of your slices, maybe you have to leave them in there a little bit longer. Maybe you got to leave them in there for 25 minutes. So that's an idea of how you can serve them. Obviously there's veggies just like that. I'll show you what they look like when they're being roasted. They look delicious. Check that out. Isn't that fabulous? Yum! This tastes so sweet now. These are sweet chips. This is going to be so nice with chicken parm. It's going to be so incredible with it. So that's only after, like I said, I had it in a hot oven. I think this was on about the 20-minute mark. Look what you get. Wonderful tray of roasted vegetables. If that's all too much work, there's nothing stopping you from serving your chicken parm with a lovely, you know, bit of lettuce on the side, maybe a bit of lemon to squeeze over the top. I'll leave it up to you. But trust me, on the roasted fennel, it is delicious. All right, we're about, how far in are we? We have 4 minutes in. I'm just going to check to see what's going on in here. Wonderful things are going on in here, I can tell you that much, which is good. We'll let it go a little bit longer, and I'll show you what I'm going to be using to put on top of the chicken parm, because of course right now I have chicken schnitzel, which is another great pub classic, but we're doing chicken parm, which means we have to have a tomato sauce, and then we have to have some sort of sprinkle of something on there. So for our chicken parm, I have made my roasted tomato sauce. The recipe is in that book, in More from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, the roasted tomato sauce. It is a flavor sensation. Anyone who's ever made this, you guys know that this is the business. It is so incredible. It tastes so good because there's like all these different types of spices in there, and there's fennel seeds and cumin seeds, and what you end up with, and garlic and ginger of course, you end up with the most wonderful base tomato sauce that could literally, you know, go on to chicken parmy. It can go through pasta, it can go with spaghetti and meatballs, you name it. You now have the most amazing roasted tomato sauce. As I say, the recipe's in the red book, and it is a must for this, because on its own, chicken schnitzel, it's all right. With this, incredible, right? Incredible. So I'm going to now take this out. When you're on about the 8-minute mark, carefully, take them out. And then we're going to do the topping. So you want to cook these for about 8 minutes first. And as you can see, we've got some pretty good little colour going on there. Let me close that. I don't want it to cool down. Keep that going. Really good little colour going on there. But I'm going to take a spoon of our wonderful, fragrant roasted tomato sauce. Like, it is just so good. So good. And just spoon that on top. Probably need, you know, depending on the size of your chicken, how well you're able to bat it out. You're probably going to need about, you know, a tablespoon and a bit per chicken palm. Doesn't have to go right to the edge, by the way. Just kind of smush it all out there. And then now it's up to you what type of sprinkle you want to use. In the book, I suggest you can use cottage cheese. That's up to you if you want to use dairy. If you wanted to use another type of dairy, you could also go for a wonderful bit of cheese. I have a gorgeous, this is a gorgeous, not very much left because I ate it all, aged Gouda. This is incredible. So if you wanted to, you could just use an aged Gouda or a Parmesan or even a cheddar, something really aged. And the reason why I say really aged is because when you are choosing an aged hard cheese like a Gouda or a Parmesan or a cheddar or an Edam, what you are getting is you're getting a cheese that has been very well fermented or aged, and that means that the lactose from the milk is extremely low. And the other great thing about using an aged hard cheese is that you are also getting to increase the diversity in your gut. So that's why I'm using, I always use an aged hard cheese, and I'm usually going for Parmesan or Gouda, up to you. But if you want to go completely dairy free, this is when your sprinkle of your gorgeous little nutritional yeast, where's the spoon, comes in handy. For those who want to go completely dairy free, you can do that as well. You just sprinkle your nutritional yeast on top there. Lovely. Let's go with just a little bit of pepper on top. We've already got enough seasoning in there with our salt. Actually, do we have enough salt in there? No, we don't. We're going to add a little bit, just a touch more. Bit of salt goes in there. I'm now going to set, if you've got a, thank you, if you have a grill function on your, one of these guys, by all means, then use the grill function. If you don't have a grill function on your air fryer, then you will pop it into the oven set on grill on high. But of course, if you're going to do that and set it in the oven on high, make sure you keep an eye on it because you don't want it to burn. So I'm setting this on grill now. Fantastic. And I'm going to pop this back in. Is it hot? No, it's not too bad. Pop this back in without burning myself. There we go. And it only needs a couple of minutes on that grill function. That's all it's going to take. I'm now going to set up our plate while our chicken parmy is just getting the finishing touches, which is literally under a hot grill for a couple of minutes. All we're kind of doing is reheating that tomato sauce, because the chicken's pretty much cooked through. Reheating the tomato sauce and melting if we've got a bit of cheese on there, or just making things a little bit warmer as well. I'm cooking them through. That's all we need to do. So I need a plate. Here we go. Let's think about this. We've got a lovely plate here. You want to start off with your vegetables and stack them up, because they are chips after all, aren't they? And they deserve to be stacked up. So stack up your vegetables on the side, but make sure you leave a bit of room for that lovely piece of chicken parmy. This is looking pretty delicious already. and I'm just putting vegetables on it. It's so funny now. I actually find myself eating the vegetables before I eat my protein now. It's been like that for a while, but I used to always go for the meat first, but now I will smash all the vegetables because they just taste so good. And talking about tasting so good, why not, well, we've got a bit of time, but our chicken just kind of grills in our air fryer, why not put a few pieces of fresh herb. I've got this wonderful basil in front of me. That is going to be absolutely delicious. There's nothing also stopping you, if you really wanted to, by just putting a bit of salad on there as well, right? Why not? Why not? Looking good. It's looking lovely and colourful already. It's looking good already. We could stop there, but no way. We're actually doing chicken parmy, so we gotta keep on going. All right, let's have a look. What is happening under here? Well, I reckon one more minute and we are ready to go. It's just starting to get all delicious and melty in there, which is so fantastic. But you know, it's one of those dishes that until I arrived in Australia, I had no idea just how popular it was. It's just not one of those. I knew what it was, but it is so popular here. And I remember one time at one of the pubs that I decided that a menu change was in order. There was nearly riots in the pub. People were so upset, like, how could you take off the chicken palm? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Never tried that again. In fact, you know, those pub classics are there for a reason. People come in for them. You know, they come in not just to have a beer, obviously, but they come in to get good, hearty, soul-satisfying food. And that's what I reckon this chicken parmy is. It's kind of soul-satisfying, you know? It's very simple. It's literally a schnitzel with tomato sauce and some type of sprinkle. That's it. But it really does make people's day. So let me see if it's nearly ready. I reckon it's looking pretty good. I could get more of a cheesy melt off there, but just for you guys, I'm going to see if I can get it out without burning myself again. Ooh, here we go. Oh, yep, fantastic. Let's now put that to the side. See if it can come. Yeah, it comes off really well. Like seriously, my favorite part of this is most definitely the crumb. The crumb is absolutely delicious. As I was saying, I could get more of a grill off that, but I don't want you guys to be waiting forever while I grill my chicken parmy. Normally you need 2, depending on your oven, of course, 2 to 5 minutes. Under the grill, you're going to get a lovely top on it. It's going to be lovely and caramelized. You know, if you wanted to, you could take a few more herbs and just give them a quick little chop through. So you've got a bit of a sprinkle on top of your parmy, but that's up to you. You've definitely got enough green happening on there as well. Already at the same time that I'm already putting more green in. So there you go, we've got our gorgeous chicken parmy with some wonderful fennel and zucchini chips. And of course, if you want to, a bit of a side salad on the side as well. There's nothing stopping you from doing the last thing. I wonder if I've got some in my fridge. Yes, I do. Why not? A little bit of lemon. Because it also goes very, very nice with a little squeeze of lemon. I'm just going to position that just there, and you have the most wonderful, wonderful dish for you. Pub classic, wonderful, easy. Kids love it. They have no idea it's healthy, which is fantastic as well. But it's pretty simple. If you've got the roasted tomato sauce, you crumb your chicken, you cook it, you're done. It's pretty fabulous. So thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope to see you back here again, because we've got a few more pub classics coming up. Steak and chips, the best way to cook a gorgeous bit of rump. I'm going to show you guys how to cook a gorgeous bit of rump, steak and chips of course, and we are going to also be doing probably one of the most popular desserts in a pub, and that is, shall I tell you? I should. Sticky date pudding. We are also going to be doing as well. So sticky date pudding is coming up. Steak and chips is coming up. I've got some amazing tips on how to get the most out of your steak, even if it's not a really expensive cut. Like seriously, It will melt in your mouth if you follow my easy steps. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that inspired you to get into your kitchen and get creating and get healthy and enjoy all this wonderful, delicious food that we have here in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Until next time, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe here on Facebook. You can also join me on Pinterest, and I'm even on Instagram if you want more of these amazing gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free recipes coming your way. Everybody take care, have a great night, and we'll see you soon back here in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Bye!